So I wanted to share with you a strategy for helping you to overcome Candida. Quick disclaimer, this is not a protocol because I don't believe that there's one set protocol that is going to help every single person, because there's so many factors, especially when it comes to healing the gut. So there's all these other things going on. So that's why I'm not going to recommend a specific protocol. More so, we're going to look at sort of the overall picture of what is going on. The better we can understand it, the better you can create a plan of action for finally healing Candida. So basically, when it comes to healing Candida, the number one question we have to ask, is Candida the main issue that we have? What else is going on? Do we have issues with our hormones or our hormone system? Do we have maybe a severe adrenal fatigue and our adrenals they're so taxed they can't handle anything anymore? Do we have problems? Is our liver all clogged up? Are there other gut infections? Are there other bacteria? Are there parasites? Do you have severe leaky gut? Do you have these other things going on? Now, more often than not, a lot of these things will probably go together some way, somehow. But if one of these is the bigger issue, this is called the limiting factor. And that is the thing that we have to focus on first before trying to get to the actual Candida itself. So we need to take that step back, you know yourself best, and see if there's other issues that are going on. If there are, let's say, for instance, you have hormone issues, it doesn't matter how strict your diet is, it doesn't matter how much you're trying to get rid of this Candida, the hormones being out of balance is still doing damage to the gut, therefore you're still going to have an issue. So that's why we have to look at all these different things together. Next step is then easing in with food and increasing nutrition, because if the body is out of order, basically we need to top off our nutrition. We have to have enough vitamins, enough minerals, enough of everything to balance out the body, so that way everything works effectively. Because if everything was working effectively, more often than not, Candida and these other things would not be happening inside the body. So we need to be able to support the body as best as possible. This means eating a variety of food. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to Candida, we want to keep the overall sugars lower, but a variety of food, a variety of many different vegetables, whatever you can handle, a variety of different sources of proteins and meats, and if you can handle nuts and seeds, a variety of those. So the more variety we have, herbs and spices and all this stuff, we're getting all nutrition and this variety of nutrition from all over the place. That is going to help support the body best. And from there, we then need to understand that the biofilm itself, especially when it comes to Candida, the biofilm itself is loaded with toxic bacteria, wastes, heavy metals. So the body, Candida, will basically, when Candida is in the gut and it's overgrown, it will basically use this toxic debris to create a biofilm. A biofilm is an invisible or protective barrier that is over this Candida. This is exactly what goes wrong, is we go in, we try to attack and kill the Candida, we break down this wall, and guess what? All those toxins that were in there, all those heavy metals that were in there, all the other stuff that was in there is now all over the place. It's almost like if you had a water balloon, right? And you have the water inside the balloon, and the balloon is the protective barrier, right? But if we poked a hole in that balloon or we threw it against the floor, now all of that stuff gets released all over the place. Same thing is happening inside the gut with Candida. So we have to keep that in mind. When I overcame Candida, I healed my gut. I did not need to use prescription antifungals ever, at all. I did it mostly through food with a very little bit of herbs and supplements. That was it. Because if we try to kill it, we try to attack it. First off, we restrict the diet too much. We lower our nutrition. That's not good. Second of all, we attack it too intensely with too harsh medications, and now we have severe die-offs, severe reactions, and now we have a whole bunch of toxins that not only was Candida itself weighing down on the system, on the liver, on the immune system, on the adrenals. But now all the toxins that we've released because of trying to kill it, that is now all in the bloodstream as well. So now we've increased our toxic load, and now more often than not, we end up feeling a lot worse. So it's best to do this step by step. First, see if there's other issues going on, then ease in with food and do food as much as humanly possible. Supplements are only that. They're going to supplement a very good diet. Then you can come in and try with herbs first. Before you try to go to this crazy harsh drug, maybe try some herbs first. See how you do with that. Ease into this process. And the thing that's really going to help you is to crowd out the Candida with probiotics and fermented food. So we want to build up nutrition with food, but we also want to use food to crowd out the Candida. So right now, you have good and bad bacteria. The Candida has taken up too much space inside the body if you have Candida. And we basically need to go in and send in the soldiers to get that Candida back under control. The best way to do that is by taking a probiotic if you cannot handle fermented food. So if you can't handle fermented food, a probiotic, Saccharomyces boulardii would be great because that will come in, that will help combat the actual yeast. It's a positive yeast, so it will take up space where the Candida is and sort of push the Candida out. Another good option would be possibly a soil-based probiotic in which you're getting many different strains and many other bacteria that are going to come in and really take up residence, so that way they sort of push the Candida out. And of course, if you don't have histamine issues, then your next best bet is fermented food. Homemade sauerkraut, homemade cultured vegetables are going to be primary. Next up would maybe be like a coconut water kefir. And then from there, maybe getting into like a dairy kefir. But even then, depending on your stage of Candida, if you're using fermented food, I would keep them to cultured vegetables. That's going to give you the least reaction with the Candida. So I hope that explains things a little better. This is basically what had helped me. And I tried all those strict protocols. I tried dousing myself with supplements, and every time I did, that made the problem 10 times worse. It wasn't until I took that step back, simplified the process, really focused on food, really focused on reducing my stress, really focused on really trying to stay on track, and focused on having a healing vision for myself, that I didn't need all that harsh stuff. This was done through just food, fermented food, things like bone broth, some herbs to support the system, some probiotics, some enzymes. That was it. And everything, all my symptoms were able to completely disappear. So I am Nick Vidal. If you found this helpful, leave a comment below and let me know if you have any questions or concerns in regard to Candida itself, or in regard to healing your gut the proper way. So there's no one set protocol for every single person. That depends on you and your unique individual, your unique body, exactly what's going on, all the factors involved. But this is a very good place to start. So I'm Nick Vidal, and I will see you on the very next video.